Well, hello, Fish Fam. This is Susan for SLC Aquatics, and I have been tagged for the Tuber Challenge, and Gina Tucker, I believe, tagged me. And so the object of this game is to answer this 9 questions that has been uh, shared amongst everybody. And then the 10th question is for me to make it up. And then I'm going to tag 3 other channels at the end, and I will put their links in the description, and also I will put their links in the video. So then the first question is, how did you get into the hobby? I got into the hobby 3 years ago after the death of my 11-year-old dog, and I was in the hobby as a child. And I had wild-caught guppies, which are now classified as endlers. And I didn't set them up in an aquarium. They were in a 1-gallon and a 2-gallon fish bowl with some pebble substrate and some guppy grass. No filtration and no heaters. And I got over 100 guppies within just a couple months. And that's when my mom and I decided to get my first aquarium. And I do believe it was like a 13-gallon aquarium with a hang on the back, carbon filter, and a few plastic decorations. And from then on, I don't know what happened to the guppies. And then I attempted catching some wild minnows in the creek at one time. And of course, I didn't know anything about water movement and filtration for wild fish, and it was within hours that the water clouded up, and they soon were floating at the top. So beginners, errors, and poor fish. I do remember in 4th grade, we probably won some goldfish at a fair, and we put those 3 little goldfish in a fish bowl, and of course they probably lived a week or two, and then we ended up having to bury them in a jewelry box and have a funeral for them. My baby sister and I did. So I got into this hobby as a child. It was on and off throughout my teen years, and then again as a young adult and a mother of 3. I inherited a 55-gallon aquarium with the house that I rented. And again, I reiterate that 3 years ago, I started up with 2 20-gallon kits and started with guppies. And the intent was to have a female tank and a male tank. And then eventually the babies were overpopulating the tanks, and we went to Walmart plastic tubs, etc. But anyway, that's how I got started in the hobby. Number 2, how many tanks do I currently own? I currently own, I have to count them, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 tanks inside the house, and 2 goldfish mini ponds outside. So that's 11 tanks. And I also have a hospital tank set up. So that's 12 tanks. Number 3, what is my favorite fish that I currently own? That's hard. I always love my live bearers, which are my guppies. My peppered corydoras, I love them because I had never had corydoras in my aquariums before, and they started spawning and having babies on their own, and they were the biggest surprise. I've acquired recently larger fish like gouramis, a common pleco, and some beautiful angelfish, large angelfish. So for my favorite fish that I currently own, I still love my guppies. So I would say they're my favorite because you get such a variety, and the project of breeding them to get fish that look alike in the strain is the challenge, but they give the most action in the tank and the most color. Number 4, what is my dream fish? My dream fish is to have a strain of fancy guppies that that I produce, and that like I said, after the third and fourth generation, they're reproducing fish that look like the parents. Number 5, what are your favorite types of filters to use and why? My favorite type of filters to use are still the hang on the back filter and the sponge filters. Just the last year, through the Fish Fam and through YouTube videos, have started using the sponge filters. And I do love the sponge filters because mainly they produce beneficial bacteria quickly, and you can put several in an aquarium in order to seed a new aquarium so that the nitrogen cycle is completed quicker. And they're easy to clean. And yes, some people don't clean their sponge filters and some people do. And I don't clean them every water change. I clean them about once a month. The hang on the back filters that come with pre-sized filter media, a lot of times I end up slitting them after the first 30 days and knocking out all of the carbon that's on the inside of them and just sticking them back in the aquarium, and just use the beneficial bacteria that's on that filter media. And only after medicating do I actually put carbon or ammo-carbon back into those filters in order to rid the aquarium of any extra leftover medication. Number 6, what lighting do you prefer or use and why? I don't know much about lighting. I have been blessed to be given so many different types of lighting. The beginner lights that came with my 20-gallon kits were, of course, the Tetra LEDs that's mounted in the hood. My son-in-law has given me several fluorescent lights, as far as from, I want to say, 24 inches to 48 inches in length, with single tubes and double tubes, fluorescent tubes in them. As far as lighting ambiance, I like the fluorescent. As far as length, I would prefer the LEDs. I've recently gone from a plastic aquarium to all planted aquariums. So as far as lighting goes, I don't know much about it. So far the LEDs keep most of my plants thriving. And I've even used, like you see behind me here, table lamps with 45 and 60 watt light bulbs in them. So I use a variety of lighting, and I really don't know enough to say why I use them. I use them because they're free or cheap, and they're available. As far as selecting lights, I would have to have some help from those more experienced. Number 7, what is my favorite type of tank setup? I'm not quite sure what that question means. I do like freshwater and saltwater aquariums, even though I personally only keep freshwater aquariums. I like the natural look, and I am really drawn to those that are very creative in the design of their aquascaping. And I like the planted tank, the more natural environment, even though most of our fish are either farm raised or store raised, Very few of our fish are wild caught anymore. So these fish don't know what a natural habitat is. They only know what an artificial habitat is about. Number 8, what is my dream tank? I guess I want to work on that 55-gallon downstairs. I like the gouramis and the pleco that I purchased, with the aquarium, but I really want to aquascape it with beautiful plants and maybe have a theme to it. And I want to add different types of fish to it. So I know the gouramis can live for a long time, and there is no way that I'm going to abuse them to make their life shorter or anything. I'm going to let them live their life out. I'm going to try introducing different schooling fish at different times. But I think my 55-gallon is going to be my dream tank. And when I get it finished setting up and have the funds to do it, I'm going to be quite proud of it. Number 9, what keeps me in the hobby? I think what keeps me in the hobby is, first of all, the love of keeping fish, breeding fish, and actually keeping different kinds of fish. I'm getting into different kinds of fish now instead of just guppies. And the relationship that I have with the fish fam definitely keeps me going, keeps me active in the YouTube community and the Facebook community. The people are just awesome people. And I've ran into different fish keeping groups where you can pick up on their arrogancy and their haughtiness. They're super critical and always kind of cutting you down for what you're doing, the mistakes you're making. But the fish fam community does not do that. Even if you have the smallest aquarium and it's overstocked 10 times, the kindness in suggesting maybe a larger tank or diminishing your livestock or something, just the kindness, the way we reach out and help one another, not only in the fish and shrimp hobby and the plant hobby, we reach out to one another with personal issues as well. So that keeps me going in this hobby. And now for number 10, which is the question that you make up for your 3 tags that you tag. My question is, if you could change anything in this hobby, what would it be? And I have to answer the question. So to me, if there was anything in this hobby that I could change, I would change the accessibility that we have with international hobbyists. The laws make it so difficult for us to share our livestock with one another, and even some of the chemicals that we use for medicating. I would change those laws, and yes, you've got to have safeguards because of disease, etc. But if I could change anything about this hobby, I would change the legal accessibilities that we have within the hobby with one another, so that it wouldn't cost an arm and a leg to receive some fish from someone in the Netherlands, someone in Sweden, or the Australia, or the UK, or Canada, that we would be able to just, put our livestock in a nice insulated box and ship it anywhere in the world. And if we need to go through regulations of, making sure that the fish has no disease. We try to be great hobbyists and take care of our livestock and make sure that we don't send you a diseased piece of livestock. So if I could change anything in this hobby, it would be the legal laws of being able to enter trade with one another in other countries. So there's the answer to my question. Now, the 3 tags. Right now, Mario Alves Jr., he has 1 video out and 8 subs. I want you to be able to go to his channel, listen to his video. He's a laid-back person. He's located in California. He shared a lot of things that are interesting facts, and why, when, and where he participates in our YouTube live streams, watching different videos, etc. And his limited access to fish stores, and also he has 3 tanks. He doesn't consider himself a fish keeper, but I do. I think if you have 1 tank, 1 large bowl, 1 pond with 1 goldfish, you are a fish keeper. And you have something to share with the community and the hobby. And I encourage Mario to continue participating and being a part of the Fish Fam community and sharing his experiences and his beautiful fish and his 3 tanks if he hasn't accumulated any more since then. So I will leave his link in the description, and I will put a link up here as well. My second person that I'm tagging is none other than J.H. Aquatics, our friend Joseph in the Virgin Islands, who's been through 2 hurricanes. He started with the Fish Fam news and then got hit with these hurricanes. Power was knocked out. Cell service was knocked out. He's been living like a caveman on the islands, but he continues to participate in our live streams and posting video when he can, even past curfew. So he right now has 1,000 subscribers, and we are hoping and praying that he gets power soon and gets back up on his feet, and not only for himself and the Fish Fam community news, but for the islands and for everyone, even in Puerto Rico and the other Caribbean islands, that they would be restored and renewed, and their tourist activities would pick back up, and their life will presume. Also, number 3, I'm tagging River Life. He has 173 subscribers right now. He has beautiful fish tanks. He has shared with us some of his experience. He's been participating more in our live streams, and he says he's just having a wonderful time being a part of the Fish Fam community, and it's encouraged him. He's even going to the Aquatic Experience, and I know that J.H. Aquatics is going to the Aquatic Experience in Illinois as well. And I'm not going to make it, but I really hope that you guys have a wonderful time. I know you will. And I hope you all get the time to meet one another in the Fish Fam community. So this is my tuber challenge, and I hope that you all have enjoyed this video. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to check out these channels and answer these questions, and don't forget to create your own 10th question. Blessings to you. This is Fish Fam Mom Susan for SLC Aquatics signing off. Love you.